So, yesterday I filmed a video talking about how I'm going to make my ideas spread like fire, or I'm starting to do so. But the question arises, how do you get those good ideas in the first place? And I've actually just been thinking in the gym, and I've come up with this idea, I've come upon this idea. And it's actually a whole group of ideas, and yeah, I'm just gonna talk about them just now. So, the more I kind of think about producing your life's work and just doing good work in life, the more I realize that distractions are the number one thing that get in the way from doing good work. When most people think about coming up with good ideas, they think about sitting down and thinking for an hour and forcing those ideas. But the thing is, that's not actually how we come up with good ideas, because when we sit down and we really try and force them, we narrow our minds. So we're actually in a narrow state. Whereas when you come back from that work and you let your mind relax, that's when your mind is in an open kind of state, right? And that's when we come up with our best ideas, in a relaxed and open state, not when we're trying to force them, right? So the crazy thing is that people, think mind wandering and resting is actually, unproductive and terrible and just gets in the way of doing good work. But it's actually quite the opposite. However, only when you don't have distractions. And it's crazy because, when you think of distractions, I'll give you an example first of all. I just came back from Italy with my family, and I've got, a good few photos and posts that I want to put up on Instagram because I just love capturing aesthetic photos and creating content, right? And you would think that, me putting up that content and getting notifications about, likes and comments, that's, a bad distraction rather. And you'd be right, it would be, which is exactly why I've got my notifications off. But the more I've been thinking about this, the more I've realized that it's actually just the act of going on Instagram and putting up that stuff itself that's a distraction. Even though I'm just doing it once a day right now, just going on and seeing someone's message or putting up something, it plants that thing, that act, that message in my head. And our minds like to loop on things that we notice or read about or learn in the day. And it loops and loops and loops and thinks about those things, without you even realizing it. Like, for example, I love, like I said, capturing aesthetic, photos or videos. And for my stories on Instagram, I've been pairing those videos with, cool sounds. Like, I've been trying to find a good sound, so music, to accompany the video. And I've noticed myself just going over, like, visualizing that video in my mind. Just trying to remember how cool it looked. And just thinking about that is taking me away from what I really should be working on, which is a resource which I'm building for my X followers on, X. I'm building it on Notion, and it's for my X followers. And the reason that's so important is because that's the main, it's my top priority right now. Because to me, it's, as if I was writing a book right now, right? It's that kind of thing, because that's exactly what's going to bring me clients. It's called a lead magnet. So, it's something you give away for free, and it gives people value. So people potentially want to buy from you later on. But that's besides the point. Either way, I'm building something which is a valuable resource, which you could say it's like I'm writing a book, right? Because I'm just filling it with information and ideas. And whenever I've found myself become stuck with writing about an idea, I found that the best way to make progress isn't to try and force those ideas and just try and sit down and, grind it out. It's quite the opposite. It's actually just to move on to something else and just follow your flow, like get into the flow state as much as you can and do what you can. And then to come away from that, and then your subconscious mind actually thinks about those things without you even realizing it, right? Because the crazy thing is, coming up with ideas and noticing patterns releases dopamine in our brain, right? We're primed and we love to notice patterns. So the thing is, whenever we notice a pattern, so for example, come up with a good idea because you've linked X idea with Y idea and you come up with a new idea, that's pattern recognition. The reason we love to do that, and it feels so good to come up with cool new ideas, like it genuinely energizes me so much and makes me so excited, is because once again, it releases dopamine, right? And whenever we do come up with a new idea and notice a new pattern, we become primed to notice even more patterns. And that's why quite often we come up with ideas in kind of like groups, or I'm not sure what other word to use here right now, but I found myself one time coming up with idea after idea after idea in just a half-hour block when I was reading, and I filled a whole page of my notebook or sketchpad in that half hour with ideas. And I wouldn't have done that if my mind wasn't in a relaxed state and I wasn't just trying to, just learn and relax. If I was just trying and force those ideas, I wouldn't have come up with those good ideas because I wouldn't be making links in my brain. Instead, I'd just be trying to force on something and just not even coming up with the good ideas. And it's actually quite incredible because there's a quote by Nikola Tesla that I love. And he said, "There are too many distractions in this life for quality of ideas. And it's quality of ideas, not quantity, that counts." I paused there for a moment because I tried to remember it exactly, but that's me paraphrasing it. It's along the lines of, there are too many distractions in this life for quality of thought, and it's quality, not quantity, that counts. There you go. So that's something along those lines. And consider this. He said that a couple 100 years ago. Like, back when there was no social media, there were no mobile phones, there was no TV, there was no, all these things in our lives. He said that back then. And that really got me thinking now even more, especially. And that's why now I've started to value more and more really just cutting out distractions completely so you can do your life's work. And by the way, when I say life's work, you might not be familiar with this concept, but when I say life's work, I mean the kind of things that Robert Greene talks about when he talks about your life's task, or the kind of things that Dan Coe talks about when he just talks about, doing good work and, doing your life's work. He actually does use those words, I'm pretty sure. And yeah. And that's exactly why, actually, now I've decided to bring back monk mode. Except I'm not actually gonna be considering it a monk mode because to me, the monk mode concept is it's kind of cliche nowadays. Like, people just used it so much, and I did actually used to use monk modes to do periods of cold calling, like loads of cold calling. But back then, I was doing repetitive work that didn't require creativity and curiosity, right? I was just doing cold calls. So no wonder. And to me, monk mode has become kind of like a time that gives you the opportunity to grind, right? But I don't see this, I'm yet to come up with a name for this, but the whole point of this is not to give you an opportunity to grind, but to give you an opportunity to be in solitude, right? Because I find that it's in solitude that you come up with your best ideas. And that's why I'm thinking in September, just do whatever I decide to call this, where I have no distractions, and I think I'm actually going to do this for 45 days instead of just a month, where I'm going to delete Instagram and everything else and just try and limit distractions as much as possible. Because honestly, any distractions are just, taking me away from my life's work, right? And I know you might be thinking this is a bit extreme. You can do X thing or Y thing. And sure, you're right. But if you're really serious about making progress in life, like I said, our mind likes to constantly loop on ideas and things that we see throughout our day, right? So you may as well be thinking about stuff that's going to make you progress and get you closer to doing good work in life, right? Because the incredible thing is that people, once again, believe in, grinding and working 10 or 12-hour days. But the incredible thing is that you can do 4, 6, however many hours of work, just good, deep work, quality work. And then while you're resting, your mind is actually still working. Your subconscious mind is doing work for you, because if you have no distractions, resting is actually one of the most productive things you can do, because that's exactly what brings you quality ideas for you to get back into flow when you do your deep work, right? I find that myself being excited to do deep work only when I've actually got ideas that I want to work on, and that I want to empty my mind of these ideas, and I want to write them down and build, right? So I'll leave it there for today, because I've literally just come up with this concept right now, and it's a fresh concept in my mind. And sure, I've been conscious of these things for a while, that, distractions are, they distract you from doing your life's work. But it's now that I've come up with this concept of really just incubating thoughts and ideas in your mind, and really letting your mind work, and cutting out distractions for a set time period, like 30 days or 45 days, so you can really make drastic progress on whatever it is that you're working on in life, right? In the future, for example, that for me will be probably, I'm thinking, writing a book. I do plan on writing a book in the future, but I don't plan on making writing books my life's work. Like, I don't plan on becoming a writer or an author. I don't see myself as that. I see myself as more of an artist. I just love to create, like a creator, right? I don't kind of want to box myself in as a writer. I just love to create in general. So I believe that my life's work is to create videos like this one, except not like this one, because I want to create more, aesthetic videos in the future. But I believe that my life's work is to create and to inspire and to guide / to lead. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there for now, like I said, and I wish you all the best. Go away and do incredible things as usual, but make sure to cut out distractions. And by the way, I didn't mean go away, I meant go out there and do incredible things. And make sure to cut out distractions so you can actually do high quality work. Be mega. Ciao.